Rumpelstiltskin. Once upon a time, there was a poor miller who had a beautiful daughter. Her eyes were the color of cornflowers, and she had rosy pink cheeks. She was so lovely and clever that the miller couldn't resist telling everyone about her. One day the king rode through the village. The miller desperately wanted to impress the king. "Your Highness, my daughter is pretty and smart," he boasted, but the king took no notice. "She can also spin straw into gold," the miller added, sure that they would get the king's attention. "Hooah!" The king stopped his horse and demanded to meet the miller's daughter. He took her back to his castle and led her up a winding staircase to a room in the turret. There she found a spinning wheel and a torn pile of straw. "Spin this straw into gold by morning," said the king, "or you will be thrown into the dungeon." As soon as the king left, the miller's daughter began to cry. Even if she had an ear to spin the straw into gold, she couldn't, for she didn't know how. Thinking about the dark, dingy dungeon, she sobbed even louder. Just then a funny little man danced into the room, clicking his heels and tapping his toes. "Spinning straw into gold is easy as can be. But if I do that for you, what will you give me?" The miller's daughter offered the little man her necklace, and quick as a flash, he spun the straw into gold thread. The next morning, the king was so pleased that he brought the girl an even bigger pile of straw. Again, he ordered her to spin it into gold by dawn. Well, she still didn't know how to do it, sure that she would be dragged to a dungeon. The miller's daughter wept. And just as before, the funny little man jiggled into the room. "Spinning a straw into gold is easy as can be. But if I do that for you, what will you give me?" This time the miller's daughter gave the little man her ring. Quick as a flash, he spun the straw into gold thread that gleamed in the morning light. The king was delighted and wanted more. He brought a girl a pile of straw so tall that it reached the ceiling. She was told to spin it into gold by sunrise. Once more, the girl cried, and the funny little man hopped and skipped into the room. "Spinning straw into gold is easy as can be. But if I do that for you, what will you give me?" This time the miller's daughter had nothing left to offer him. He made her promise to give him her firstborn child. Then, fingers flying and toes tapping, he spun the straw into gold. The king was so overjoyed with the golden thread that he asked the miller's daughter to marry him. They held the wedding the very next day, and the miller almost burst with pride when his daughter became queen. The king and queen were very happy, and Miller was poor no longer. A year after the wedding, the queen had a beautiful baby boy. She had forgotten all about the funny little man and the promise she had made. One day, while the queen hummed a lullaby, the funny little man danced into a nursery and demanded the baby prince. "Oh, please don't take my son," the queen begged. The little man thought for a moment. Then he clapped his hands and said, "You can't keep the prince if you play my game. You've got 3 days to guess my name." The queen lay awake all night making a list of all the names she could think of. That evening, the little man toured into the nursery again. Is your name Harry, or Larry, or Barry? Asked the queen. But all of her guesses were wrong. The little man cracked with glee and sang, You can keep the prince if you play my game. You've got 2 more days to guess my name. The next day, the queen sent messengers all over the land to find more names. Then, that evening, the little man appeared again. Are you named Tim, or Jim, or Kim? Asked the queen. Once again, all her guesses were wrong. The little man hooted with delight and sang, You can keep the prince if you play my game. You've got 1 more day to guess my name. The next day, the queen's servant was chopping logs when he heard a strange sound. He hid and watched a funny little man leaping around a fire singing. The king will never win this game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name. The servant hurried home to tell the queen what he had seen. That evening, when the little man danced into the nursery, the queen pretended to think. She said, Is your name Dollabug, or Tiddlywinks, or Filbert Tibbet? The little man shook with laughter and shook his head. Do you give up? He asked, reaching for the baby. I know, it's Rumpelstiltskin, exclaimed the queen. The little man's face turned as red as a beet, and he howled, Oh, what a shame, what a terrible shame. The queen knows Rumpelstiltskin's my name. Throwing himself to the floor, he kicked his feet and pounded his fists so hard that he bored, splintered, and split. Rumpelstiltskin tumbled through the floor and was never seen again.